you were betting at the age of 13?
Yeah.
Is it illegal?
Well, at first, like I remember when I was like very young, like maybe 4 years old. I remember enjoying watching my sister like play PlayStation, and I just like enjoyed the whole concept of it, and I enjoyed watching her. And then as I was growing up, at the age of like 6 or 7, my dad brought me to an internet cafe, and that's where I discovered Counter Strike. And from then on, I just got hooked into gaming, just because it was like a different reality, like where all the problems in the world just went away and everything was just in front of me.
It's like it's a different reality where you can actually shoot people and not go to jail.
Kind of, I guess. Yeah.
Kind of get like you kind of feel more powerful, and it's an alter universe of some sort, definitely. So, kind of sounds good. So I guess your dad is a gamer too.
Not really. I think he was kind of sick of me like just staying at home, because I used to be such a big like book nerd, and I guess he wanted me to get out of the house and like be a kid a bit. And he brought me to an internet cafe, and little did he know I got hooked.
That sounds so weird. I mean, being a parent right now, being a parent myself, it's like in the 80s, my parents is like they have a hard time getting us, letting us stay inside the house because there's nothing to do in the house. So we're always outside, running around. And then these days, parents have a hard time letting children out because you know what they're doing? They're always on their mobile phones and gadgets and whatnot. So it's kind of weird that you actually experience that as well. It's like you're 10 years younger than myself, so it's like I find that weird.
Yeah, it's a new generation kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what cafe did you actually?
It's not a popular one. It's just like one that was outside San Nino Village. That's where I was living at that age. But yeah, it was just outside the village, and I just kept going there every day. And
okay, I thought it was like 64 MB because.
Oh no, that was like that. That's like a high end like
back then.
Yeah, that was like where all like the top players would play. No, I was just 7 years old. I was just schooling older kids playing Counter Strike.
Isn't that the cafe that had a diner as well?
Are you thinking about Fuselage?
No, not Fuselage. I actually forgot the name. It's like a one-story internet cafe that served like grilled pork belly or something. But it had
no.
like 10 units only. It wasn't quite small.
No, it was more like a cafe. Like it was like a place. It's like a ticketing office, but they had they had PC set up, so people go there to like buy tickets and whatnot. And yeah, I was
Just
schooling
like
everyone there.
Okay. Like, when did you start competing and on what game?
I only really competed in Dota, but at the age of like 13 or 14, I was joining like bet matches and tournaments, just because like I was fortunate enough that I was playing in a cafe where the best player in Cebu at that time was playing, and I was like learning from him and whatnot. So he brought me along and taught me some stuff, and eventually I just got good.
Okay. Wait. You mentioned you were betting at the age of 13?
Yeah.
Is it illegal? Nah, just kidding. Nah, just playing around.
Once upon a time, not much laws. There was not much laws.
Nah, we have laws, just no implementation.
Yeah.
I myself have been betting during the family computer days back in the 80s. You have no idea what games they were actually. I'm pretty sure.
What games were they?
Double Dribble, Mario.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. I don't know these games.
Yeah, you have no idea. It's like 2D and yeah. When did you realize this could become a career for you and not just something you do after school or weekends?
Um, I don't know. I never really believed it could be a career for a long time. It was just like me blindly chasing a dream, like some kind of egoistic dream. Like I just want to be the best, you know. Like I just love the game so much, and I guess I realized like when I moved to Han, because like I had a pretty good reputation in Han, because I had like two accounts that were like top 10 in the world. So I was just like, maybe I am pretty good at this stuff. I think that was then, but then at that time the money was it was still very bad. You know, you couldn't really make a living just playing video games.
It was Han, not Dota, that actually made you realize this could be something you can do for a living.
Yeah, because it's like that's where I actually like played against a lot of international players. Because in Dota 1 it was like more of just a local scene. Yeah, but then it's when I played internationally, I was just like, hey, maybe I'm as good as I think. You know, like.
So it was like validation for you because you're actually playing against the entire world, not just bet games locally.
Yeah, my team was like top 4 in the whole world, so it was pretty amazing, you know, to see like all the hard work paying off and whatnot.
Right, and this time around, you're pretty sure that you're on top of the world because this is like international. It's not just some local, cafe or something.
Yeah, that's when I realized, you know, all the hard work's paying off.
But still no money at that time, though. I mean,
No,
not stable.
No, yeah, like the salary, like you'll be lucky at that time if you were being paid salary just to play it for a team. You know, a lot of sponsors back then were shady, and they would like sponsor you, but not really give much. You know, they'd take more of the prize pool and give and whatnot. So there was a lot of problems still in the scene.
What year do you think financially things get stabilized for you in terms of the career?
Well, for me, I was actually about to call it quits around 2014. But for some reason, I was like, I'll give it one last shot. And yeah, 2014 was a stable year for me. Like, because like I always felt bad because like my mom would be helping me so much, you know, giving me money and whatnot, chasing this ridiculous dream of mine. And yeah, that's when I first got my surge of money, and the first thing I did was give back to her. You know, I gave her like 500,000 pesos for all the expenses she spent on me. So
wow,
it was a good feeling. It was like a weight off my shoulder, you know, because my parents were always bugging me, you know, like even though they supported me, like I mean they were against me playing, but it's just like me, like I don't care, I'll do what I want, you know. I'm kind of stubborn like that. But yeah, it was then like I finally was able to show them, like, you know, it's not a dead end, you know, there's future, there's a future here.
Wow, that sounds, when you mentioned you gave your mom like 500,000, that sounds so Filipino actually, to be honest. It's like so it sounds very weird for me to hear that coming from you. I mean, if I look at you, it's like there's, you know, literally you're not Filipino. But then here you go, here you are saying, you know, you gave back to your mom because, you know, you appreciate all the, you know, the support you got from her. That's like, you know, it's like I'm hearing you're 100% Filipino inside because of that. I mean, if you were not, I don't think you'd probably be doing that. Yeah, I mean, right?
Yeah, I know. It's definitely like I grew up all my life in the Philippines, and yeah, I guess I do have a lot more Filipino than people expect me to have. You know?
I mean, just judging from the way you look. Right? So
Yeah.
That's 100% Filipino. I don't think any other race would. Well, probably there are some, but not American or not Western, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess it depends on the person too. It's just like my way of thanking them for being with me in this journey.
Okay, that's really great. So, how does it feel to be the only Filipino in your existing lineup back when you were still in Mineski?
I've always been against like thinking, like just thinking about the race. You know, I always thought we're just a group of people trying to accomplish a common goal. and I never really put much thought into it. It's usually the fan base or the fans who are more like, oh, Filipino pride or whatever. Like I don't really think much about them. It's, I just focus on playing.
Right, just like how a true professional should be, right?
Yeah, because it shouldn't matter what race you are. Like.
I mean, but for me though, I think because this is a team game, I think the chemistry is very important here, and I think for me it would be trickier if you'd be playing with people with different races.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely like culture difference and whatnot that comes into play, like the mindset and the upbringing. So yeah, I mean, obviously it helps if you experience the same thing and whatnot, but that can also be a positive. Like I always enjoy learning about learning from new things from people. Like their culture, their upbringing, and how they think. They always have a different mindset coming from depending on where they come from. So it's always interesting for me.
Right. It helps as you're very open-minded about it then.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're also all professionals, and they're chasing for the same, looking for the same end result. Right. Okay. Next up, what's your most memorable gaming event in Cebu?
Oh, yeah, I still remember it to this day. It's actually back then in Dota 1, WCG was a thing. Like that was like the big tournament everyone was trying to play for and whatnot. And so in 2008, I will call it. I won the WCG Cebu and represented like Cebu, and that was the first time I played in Manila, and that was the first time I got schooled by all the top teams. So it kind of like pushed me to grow more. Because like I think I found at that point I was already at my limit in Cebu. Like I wasn't growing anymore. The competition was becoming stale. A lot of teams were avoiding my team. But yeah, definitely winning WCG Cebu 2008.
It's okay. You mentioned I won. Is that I won or we won? Like your team won?
I mean my team won, yeah. Like
oh, okay.
I just
okay, because that kind of confused me. So,
no, I won it on my own.
oh, is that the game where your team just quit and then?
Oh no. That's WGT or something. Like it was also a tournament in Manila, but yeah, my teammates quit. They gave up, but I still had a never die attitude at that time, so I didn't give up. And apparently, I didn't expect like everyone to find out about that game.
you didn't expect that game would be legendary.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's weird that you mentioned WCG because I played WCG since the year 2000 up until I vaguely remember doing it as well in 2008. I didn't remember there was Dota at that time still, but I was probably still. That's probably because I'm just focused on StarCraft back then. So yeah, it's good to hear that you also know that tournament because that used to be the biggest in the country actually, and we have to thank Samsung for that because I believe if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't really experience like a national type of tournament that they organize.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, I definitely, they helped me grow my career. That I lost a lot of money, going there, losing bet matches, but it pushed me, to want to get better.
Right. It was an eye opener for you as well.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Do you have a team or a player in school right now that you think has a chance at following your footsteps?
I think it would be Boombox. I think he's the captain of Admiral right now. He's the second most successful Cebuana player.
I kind of find that racist since he's also Kano. That's joking. But yeah, I know him from way back as well. He played in a tournament in my cafe back in 2006 about that, where your former team with 64MB won. And we also were in the same StarCraft 2 team about 2010 or something. He's a pretty strong player, and he has the right attitude to actually go for. I mean, go for it. Like I think he's all in already at this point, right?
Yeah.
And I think
Definitely made sacrifices.
right, and I think it's just gonna be a matter of time till he actually just gets to the right team and play the right games. And right now, I think they're doing pretty well with Admiral, right?
Yeah, they're one game away from qualifying to minor. He's already played some LAN events with Clutch Gamers. So yeah, I mean, if I was to say anyone like the second best Dota player in Cebu, it's definitely gonna be Boombax.
Right. Okay, that's a great choice. So, what's your best Bisaya trash talk line?
I'm not really one of a trash talk, but like I had this funny moment like when I was coming back from Hon. I moved over to Dota because I saw the international one, and I was just like, yes, this is the next step from Hon, because Hon was already pretty much dying from that point on. So I was like, I'll play Dota 1 again. So I was playing Dota 1 in Cebu after playing like in an international like scene. So yeah, and then at that time, a player named Henrik. You know Henrik?
Yeah, from
Arcanist. He was Arcanist before, and yeah, like a lot of people were like saying, oh, he's the best Cebuano player and whatnot, and I was just like laughing and whatnot, not trying to prove anything, until we were playing like a small mini cafe tournament, and people like jokingly said, yeah, go challenge Henrik 1-on-1, and I was just like, you know what, fuck it, let's do it, and we went 1-on-1, and I schooled him, and he asked me for a rematch, and I told him nope, because I have nothing to prove.
that's I find it kind of funny. It's yeah, I think it just shows your attitude that you just go for it. It's just it's how you actually improve. It's right. I also remember my friends actually laugh about how they tried to trash talk you back in San Carlos Talamban days, and then when you trash talk back in English, they'd be like, oh.
I'll admit it. Even though I'm a Cebuano, my Cebuano is not the greatest. Like, I'm not really comfortable speaking it. I understand it very well, but it's just like, yeah, speaking it is like, it's difficult.
So, given your experience in Manila and in the international scene, what do you reckon would it take for Cebu's competitive gaming scene to consistently grow? I noticed the gaming community in Cebu has always been somewhat come and go. Back in 2000 to 2008, there was WCG, as what you mentioned. Then the esports festival with just some really relatively small events. I honestly thought things would get bigger by now and more consistent, but unfortunately, I don't think it has.
I mean, I'm not sure, like, cause Cebu is more based on like there's a lot of casual gamers, not a lot of people who has the drive or willing to chase what they like. They say they want to, but they're not really willing to put the effort. The reason why I say this is because like back in like 2007 or whatnot, like there's a tournament in the ICC Center. And then I overheard like a team. He was complaining to the organizers, like he's asking because like at that time only the first place had prize money, and the prize money at that time was quite big. And he's asking if like second place had prize money, and the organizer said, "Sorry, no, only first takes everything." And then he's like, he went to his team and he just like, yeah, let's just go. There's no point, because my team was playing, and I was just like, whoa, like what the fuck. Like, I think it's the mindset that a lot of Cebuanos have. It's like they're not willing to take on the challenge, and that's why like because there has been a lot of tournaments in Cebu, but the people that comes to the event, it's always so little.
Although we have competitors here as well, they do it like casually in terms of effort.
Yeah, I think that would be the way to put it, and then that's what kind of like drove away all the organizers and whatnot, like they got lazy putting the effort too, because the feedback that they got from the community was also very poor.
Okay, so for you, which one should come first? So you're saying, I mean, from that statement alone, I think you're saying competitive the competitive gamers themselves have to improve first before the tournament organizers come in, or
I mean,
is it the other way around?
it's a bit of both, I guess. Like,
I mean, from your experience in Manila, how did it go? Like, did the tournament organizers stay consistent regardless of how the competitors were, or did the competitors like keep improving and the tournament organizers just played catch up?
there was just a like a high number of top teams competing at the region. Like in Cebu, I think you'll always have just one team like dominating everyone, and then everyone's like afraid to challenge and whatnot. But in Manila, it's like the teams are always up for the challenge. People are just scared of the competition here in Cebu, and yeah, it drove away the organizers.
I noticed this as well since way back. You're trying to say that the competitors we have here, they have this attitude that they want to be the big fish in their little pond.
Something like that, yeah. And then if
Right.
they're not, it's like they're not willing to take the challenge, or like
Right?
they're not.
They're not willing to take the risk of losing, and then their
Yeah, it's like
friends.
it seems like they're afraid of disappointment, like something like that.
Besides that, I would say they're afraid of losing, and then their reputation, as if it's that important, is gonna be tainted.
Yeah,
Because that's what I noticed before. Like we like go all over Cebu just to find challenges, and then
Mhm.
people would be, oh no, he's the best in this cafe, but he's not gonna accept your challenge because they just wanna. We feel like they just wanna be the best in their cafe.
yeah, something like that.
So you think if we change that attitude, then overall the scene would improve and continue growing.
Yeah, I think that's the first step that we have to fix.
Okay. When I was growing up, many kids would aspire to be the next Efren Bata Reyes or Manny Pacquiao. With the prize money Dota tournaments have these days, I would say more kids would aspire to be the next Ninjaboogies. Would you say the same?
I mean, it's definitely a cool thought. I never really put that in my mind. But yeah, I mean, like that would be awesome. Like if I hear people say they want to be the next me, but I mean, I just hope they're prepared, for all the challenges that comes with chasing one's dream.
Great advice, because I think most people actually just want to see the results, and they don't want to dig in and go to the what's underneath the tip of the iceberg, which is a lot of hard work.
Oh yeah, I mean, like even though like you can say that I'm the most successful, it's like I've had a lot of defeats as well. It's not always rainbows and sunshine.
No doubt. So from my eyes, back in high school, something like that, a lot of people play billiards. A lot. I mean, my batch. But then these days, I barely see any teenager that does billiard now. Everyone's in the cafes. So I think this is going to be the reality for the generation that's the next generation right now.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely something that's growing. It's becoming more of a sport. We have like coaches and whatnot, analysts. So it's definitely growing.
I know more and more want to become professional gamers these days. What do you think is the minimum MMR a gamer should have at C or whatever server to ever consider doing this for a living?
I think the minimum MMR is whatever MMR it is to be competing with like the top teams, the top players. I guess top 100 MMR. If you're top 100 MMR, I think you have the skill to be in a team. It's just maybe you don't have the experience of playing in a team. But you have the individual skill, the individual mechanics and whatnot to compete with the rest, the best of the best. Definitely, I think MMR can show be a good reading for like how well you are and how good you are in the game. As long as you're every couple games you meet another pro player in the game, I think you're in the right MMR.
So yeah, everyone should take note of that because if you're just like Archon like myself, then there's no way. So just
Yeah, you definitely have to improve on some stuff.
right. You stopped going to school to pursue your dreams. Are you planning to go back in the future, or would you recommend aspiring gamers to do the same?
I don't know.
This is gonna be very.
This is a tricky question because it's like I don't think there's a real right answer. I stopped schooling just because like I was never a big fan of schooling or like the methods. Like I hate having to learn from books just to know something. I like learning from experience and failure and whatnot. Like my favorite subject in class was math. It's because like even though you learn it from the book, the application is always different and you can always change it, or like you can formulate make your own way to solve puzzles and whatnot. So yeah, I mean for me, I dropped out of school because like I just wasn't stimulated. Like I was bored. I went to college for 2 semesters and I got dean's list with like minimal effort, and a lot of it is also because of the school system in the Philippines. Like I went to San Carlos, Cebu. So I had this mindset is like I look down upon the Filipino education system because like it's not like worldly renowned. I came from CIS, so like I'm kind of spoiled in that way where I'm used to like an international exposure. So when I got to San Carlos, I was just like, yeah, I didn't think it was worth my time. So I decided, you know what, I'll just pursue gaming. And like I still had a backup plan. Like even though like I gave myself like a couple of years to try to accomplish what I'm trying to do. And if it really did fail, I had a backup plan in mind. So I wouldn't recommend anyone just dropping out of school and pursue a career in gaming. I mean, maybe in the next generation it will be more much better because like it's just booming. Eventually it's gonna be the new NBA where people drop out of they get like scholarships and whatnot from high school and they join like a team, something like NBA. So maybe then it can be applied. But for now, it's I was one of the lucky few who took that risk, and the payoff, like it paid off. But I suggest if finish and get a degree because that's something that my mom always until now is pushing me. Like gaming's not gonna last forever, but I'm stubborn.
That actually sounds very parent-like of you to give that advice.
Yeah.
It's weird that you got bored and then instead of you mentioned the what do you call this, the overall standard wasn't to your liking. It's instead of choosing a more another school that would be at par with your standards or expectations. So you just bit the bullet and took the risk of just pursuing a dream.
Well, for me, it's like one thing that led me to it is like I was bored with like my day-to-day life. It's like because like when I was going through high school and whatnot, I was a varsity player. I played football or soccer, and yeah, like I just had this competitive nature in me, and I just like the feeling of competing, and that's what actually drove me, like to stopping school. And like actually, if it wasn't for Dota 2, I probably wouldn't. I probably would continue school, but it's like I saw like wow, there's a Dota tournament with 1 million prize pool. It's like like it like actually like it was a nail in the coffin. It's like this is it. Like it's time to just go all in. And I wouldn't recommend going all in for anyone else, but I still haven't gotten it, so I'm still trying.
Right. The TI1 was like it turned everybody's heads like okay, let's stop doing whatever it is we're trying to do.
Like, there's a future, like it was a realization. It's like at first because like everyone thought like a lot of teams that I know that got invited and not like they were given beta keys, but a lot of the Chinese teams thought it was a scam because like no way they're like because at that time the highest Dota prize money was probably SMM, the SMM tournaments, and it was like maybe 60k USD, and maybe the first place walked away with 20k USD, and that's already that at that time was very high. And yeah, you just all of a sudden you have Valve come out with like, hey, $1 million tournament, first place, let's go, boys.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, if I was in your shoes and I had your abilities, then I probably would have done the same. So it's like I can imagine how you chose the adrenaline rush over the boring books and whatnot. But definitely great advice on staying in school while trying to do this on the side, I guess, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
it's just the safer move, unless of course you're Ninjaboogie and you get lucky and end up seeing the future. Funny as well because I believe Hendrik did the opposite. He stopped Dota to go back to school, right?
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, something like that. So you mentioned you had a backup plan. What was it?
Oh, like the most extreme case would be I would just join the military. That's it.
Wait, military
I-
as in the Philippine military?
no, American military. That was like in my back of my head. Like if really all things like my life is becoming shit, I made the wrong choice in life. I'll just join the military.
That sounds like a self-punishment as well.
Yeah, That's why in my head it's like failure's not an option.
I think
I mean, obviously, like another plan was like go back to school, but like if it didn't work out, I'd be like, yeah, military is an option.
you kept telling yourself that to push you even further in your gaming career.
Yeah,
Right?
it helped me get out of my comfort zone.
Okay. Okay. And what do you think should parents and the government tell the now rampant video gamers?
Oh, I mean, I hope like with how things have been going in the past few years, like they are more supportive and willing, for their kids to chase their dream. Like there's definitely a future there, Like I know because like I was part of the first generation of professional gamers where it was only like 4 years ago that my parents were finally like off my back and like, okay, you go do your thing, because at the end of the day they're just worried about their kids. But then I hope that we're proving like the professionals are proving to the parents that this is a future. It's renowned worldwide. It's not a dead end. So I hope they're more supportive and whatnot. And it's actually crazy because for TI, like I mean I'm not like one to follow the government and what updates for that, but apparently like Tommy Osmania, the mayor, like posted something about me in Facebook. I was just like, what? It's nuts, I'd never imagined that in my life, It's an eye opener, like, and I hope parents don't shun their kids away from like from that potential because everyone's created, everyone's different, and you never know if that's their calling. So,
Right. And I guess we just have to remind parents as well that even though this may work, I think being a parent myself, I think it's our responsibility to actually educate our kids that for this to actually work, there has to be a lot of hard work put into it. Right? It just doesn't happen because you like the game.
Oh no.
Back when we practiced for the CICC tournament where we met at the finals, I actually wanted to puke just trying to play 2 or 3 heroes all the time. I mean, coming from a StarCraft background, I barely could take it. I mean, I found it so boring. I mean, to be honest, being a professional, just playing just a handful of heroes, it's definitely not easy.
Oh no, like that's like the misconception a lot of people, like a lot of my friends back home and people I meet who I tell them like, oh, I'm a professional gamer, they're like, oh, you must be having so much fun. I'm like, trust me, it's not fun. It's a lot of grind, and like,
right. Grind is definitely the word for it.
It's like, it's no joke. It's like, and you have to sacrifice so many things in your life for it. It's like I missed out on so many family events, like people's birthdays. Like you have no control of your schedule just because like at one moment you think you're free, like for the month of December. Like I've never spent Christmas home anymore because
Wow.
there's always a tournament that pops up, and you can't like say, hey, I'm not gonna play this one because it's like that's where the money comes from. That's where your and a lot of times it's a tournament that helps you qualify to the TI or something like that, or it's just more training. Because if you take a day off or a week off, that's a week that your opponents are getting ahead of you. So it's like it's very competitive. So yeah,
Wow.
just saying, you can't think it's easy.
Right, right, yeah. We have to tell parents, yeah. Again, it can work, but parents should educate their children that just like any other profession.
hmm Like if it's the same case if they want to be a professional basketball player. It's not just because you enjoy shooting hoops in your backyard or whatnot. It's like you're actually dedicated to learn the ins and outs of the game and the mechanics and what. It doesn't become a casual game anymore. Like
Right.
I don't like playing Dota in my free time. Like when I have free time, I'm like, nope, I'm playing something else.
I wouldn't imagine you doing that. So it's like, yeah. Again, it's just not easy to grind. I'm sure it's gonna be, yeah. Again, only professionals can do it, and there's a reason why it's called professional game.
Yeah, for sure.
No Christmas for family. I mean, I don't know Filipinos can do that. Really?
I mean, I think that's also like I was just thinking about it. Like, what put me apart from a lot of the Cebuano players is like I was willing to get out of my comfort zone. Like at the age of 15, I moved to Manila to join Mineski, and my salary was very minimal. Like I was definitely not making enough to sustain myself. And at the age of like a certain age, I moved to Korea for all in. It's like I guess that's one reason also. Is like you have to be ready if you want to grow. You have to be ready to get out of your comfort zone.
Right.
And I think that's one thing that Boombax has been doing as well.
And comfort zone meaning way beyond just going out of your internet cafes.
It's like
Right. It's like,
experience new things. Like a lot of Cebuano gamers just stay in Cebu, so it limits their growth.
not just Cebu, maybe just one cafe.
Yeah,
which
so,
which doesn't leave a lot of room for improving, right?
for sure.
Okay. So yeah, again, great advice. So right now, TI 18, your 9th to 12th place, your biggest so far. What's next for Cebu's most lucrative professional gamer?
Rinse and repeat. It's always like that. That's the story of every Dota player that hasn't won TI. And if you won TI, it's like you want to get the second championship. So I mean, the aim is TI 9. I'm a little disappointed with my performance in TI 9. I feel like I let myself down. Like I didn't play the best of my capabilities. So I'm coming back with a vengeance. Like I want to prove that it was just a fluke. So I mean, and now I'm with TNC. I'm their quote unquote captain, but like, yeah, that's the goal. TI 9.
TI 9 is definitely the goal, right? And I guess congratulations is as well in order for being in TNC. I think TNC is a pretty solid and a pretty consistent team.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like my personal opinion was I think they were the best Southeast Asia team in TI 8. We were just lucky to beat them, but they definitely did way better than like my team did, Mineski. So yeah, I was happy. I approached them and they took my offer of joining the team.
Okay. Yeah, again, congratulations for that and being the new captain.
It's all good. I mean, I guess just shout out to all those aspiring Cebuano players. Like it really is your dream. You have to chase it. You have to work hard for it. Don't let anything stop you if you really believe it, because I believed it.